So what we're going to be working on today is swapping Alex's differential bushings along with swapping his rear hubs and putting some axle spacers, because he keeps having a problem that his axles are overextending and popping his boots, and we're going to try to fix his clunking and everything today. If you look over here, you can see his subframe bushings weren't exactly in the best condition. What Alex is working on right now is he's disconnecting the drive shaft. We already pulled the exhaust off, and our game plan is going to be to just unbolt the calipers and let them hang so we don't have to re-bleed it afterwards. Also, he has a hydro spliced in that we don't want to deal with, so we're just going to leave that for now. Alex just disconnected the drive shaft. If you don't feel like bleeding your brakes every single time you drop the subframe, one trick is to unbolt the traction arm, swing it up, and then get the caliper and swing it over the arm. Our game plan is going to be just to unbolt the top of the shock bolts in the trunk, and since we have the calipers hanging, everything should just drop out as one full unit. We're just going to unbolt these bolts, which will let everything drop out as a full unit with all the suspension intact, since the drive shaft and everything is disconnected in the brake. Okay, we got all the bolts undone on the subframe, so it's ready to come out now. What we're doing to risk not dropping the subframe is we have two transmission jacks, one on each knuckle, so we can drop it down evenly, and then we have the jack supporting the diff, kind of like that. So we got the subframe out. It came out pretty easy because we used transmission jacks on each of the lower control arms to balance it, and a jack in the middle. And as you can see, the bushings definitely needed to be replaced, so it's a good thing we're doing this. Now while we're doing this, we're going to be swapping the hubs because they're clicking, putting axle spacers because these axles keep blowing boots, and then we notice over here his axle has a pretty big gap, so we're going to try to figure out what's going on over here. Alright, so we just finished burning out the bushings, or at least the most we're going to do, because one thing we forgot about is the smokes of your entire street, and it looked like our entire block was on fire. So we just stopped a little early. Now we're going to be cutting out the sleeves inside of the subframe where the bushings sat, or they were part of the bushing, but you have to cut them out if you're doing solid bushings. For that, we're going to be using a saw with the Milwaukee blade. Alright, so we just got the last sleeve off. We've been fighting this for about 3 hours now, but we're just quickly cleaning up and trying to get everything into the garage so we could close it and go eat, because we all haven't ate all day. We got the axles out so we could take the hubs out because we're replacing those, and we didn't really record any of this because all of us were in pain, but it was pretty simple. The axle bolts are just 36s, and then the ones to the diff are 12s. It only took us like 20 minutes to take those out. The hardest part was the sleeves. We kind of cut too much in some areas, and now the subframe is kind of garbage, but we're still gonna run it. So we just got back from eating. We're gonna call it a day in a little bit and start again tomorrow, but all we're gonna do for the rest of the day is throw the hubs back on with the GK Tech 10mm axle spacers, and then just wrap it up for the rest of the day and get back to it tomorrow, which means Alex is gonna be my Valentine's date.
Huh?
So what happened, Alex?
Fuck the car.
Yeah, pretty much we decided I don't want Alex to be my Valentine's Day date because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So we're just gonna try to finish this up right now. We got the two front subframe bushings on and the axles on, but one thing we did figure out that's kind of a situation we don't know what to do with right now is we figured out the output on the diff is bent, and that's why it doesn't seat the axles, and that's why he keeps blowing axles. So we're trying to figure out a diff solution, but more likely we're just gonna throw it into the car right now and deal with it later.
One more?
That's in there. Alright, so I realized I forgot to end the video the other day on Alex's car, but it's kind of good because today Alex here wants to put together his Bride Zeta III with his FG rails into his car. And yeah, we're gonna get to work on that. The only thing that you're gonna have to buy separate if you do run the same setup as us, which is the FG rails, is
More hardware.
more hardware from Home Depot. You're gonna need 4 M8 by 125 and 20 millimeters. And we recommend using actual like 10 mil heads, so it's easier in case you want to ever take the seat out on the side of the car, so you don't have to pull the rail every single time. I believe the only tool you're going to need to take the stock seats out is a 14 millimeter, but it looks, just by looking at this car, we could tell a few of the bolts are cross-threaded, so hopefully everything goes smooth and we don't have to tap any holes. So that took only like 30 seconds to take out the 4 bolts, and for some reason they're all different on this car, but whatever. At least we don't have to deal with this anymore.
God damn, what the fuck?
So Alex just finished vacuuming the floors, and now we're gonna put the seat in. The easiest way I like to do it is put the rails on the car first, but loosely, and then line up the seat on the rails and tighten everything. Otherwise, you could have problems with it binding. All right, if anyone is trying to do this on their own, if it's slotted like this, it's a front bracket, and if it's just the hole, it's a rear bracket. And then also these curved parts always go towards the outside. So this is the front inner part, and then the bracket goes in like this, and we're leaving it loose so we can adjust the seat later on, either in or out. And the way you put these on is you're gonna slide the rail forward so you can get the nuts on the bottom. Hopefully that makes sense for someone if they're trying to do this on their own. Well, I didn't even realize it when I was recording it, but Alex put this one on backwards, so he has to do it again. He accidentally has the arch going in from the outside, and the brackets on the outside part instead of inside, like how this one bends towards inside the seat. He had it bent towards outside. So the way the seatbelt goes together is this order, if anyone needs to know. It's bolt, washer thing, wavy washer thing, flat washer thing, ribbed washer thing, nut, and the seatbelt. And then to get the seatbelt bolted, it's the actual inner rear plate thing, and then this on top of it. So sandwich kind of like that. Also, you have to remember that you have these two offset washers. If you look at it, they're kind of like triangle shaped, and they go on the seatbelt side like this, just to make the rail straight and not bind. So we got the rails in, so Alex is going to be putting the seat in now. We left them pretty loose so we could just attach the seat, line everything up, and then tighten it. One piece of advice I got for you guys is use the Bride Allens on the outside so it looks nice, but on the inside use a 10 mil bolt, so you can use a ratcheting wrench in case you ever want to take the seat out and you don't have to remove the rails. All right, we got the seat in and we're about to wrap it up for the day, so we're out.
All right, guys, thanks for watching the video and sticking around to the end. We just have an announcement. Turn around, dumbass. Turn around, dumbass. We have aimless tees, hot and ready to go. Just order, link in the description. Hey, turn around, dumbass. They go crazy. Good quality print too. Thick necks.
For thick necks.
If you like your tees oversized, there's one left. It's a large. Just hurry up and buy.